Hello everyone, welcome back to the Bengals series. We are here in Madden 01, episode 24 of our franchise here. We're in year number 3, game 2 that we were watching, but this is actually week, I think, 4 or 5, I think. We've played 3 games and we haven't had our bye, so it's week 4. We tied with the Ravens in our first episode of this season, and then in the 2 games that we sim, we got blown out by the Redskins on the road, and then picked up a win, our first win of the year at home in our home opener against the Denver Broncos, who we lost to in the AFC Championship last year. So this is our second division game of the season here, and it is against our bitter rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think we beat the Steelers at all last year. I don't normally show both games, so we might have beat them earlier in the season. I really don't know what our GM record is against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know it's kind of a wash. We've lost a lot of games against the Steelers, as annoying as it is. But look at this, dude. Look at this matchup, bro. We are far and away the better team, but we're, of course, going to find a way to probably choke it away to the Steelers, because we always do. But no, I'm going to be optimistic. Obviously, if you see the title of this video, you know what's probably going to happen if I title it something like that. But we're going to all play dumb here, like this game is not already set in stone. I don't know what happens. So Plexico Burris is going to make our defense look silly already and get the Steelers into our territory by making a catch across the middle of the field and getting this offense rolling. So much like the Ravens, who have a lot of core pieces from the first kind of season here, the Steelers have too. Their team really hasn't changed. They're still rocking with Cordell Stewart, Jerome Bettis, and Plexico Burris and company, and this man right here, Bruner. I always struggle with it, but their tight end, man, who had like 47 receptions last year against us, just, again, continuing to work against us, but the Steelers' offense is rolling as they're going to go to the fullback, who fumbles it off the catch here. He gets the first down, but fumbles, but the Steelers are going to retain possession, luckily for them. So, 1st and 10 here, deep in our territory now, in I formation. The Steelers come out. They're going to fake the handoff to the fullback and go to Jerome Bettis, who's got some room up front here, and shimmies off a couple of tackles before getting brought down. So, nice pickup for the bus, Jerome Bettis. So on 2nd and short now, very late in this first quarter, neither offense really able to do much of anything. Jerome Bettis now heads to the right side, and looks like somebody got a little bit too much of the face mask, so it's going to be a definite first down for the Steelers on a play where it looks like we had them gobbled up well before, but it's going to give the Steelers a fresh set of downs inside the red zone, so that's a pretty costly mistake you don't want to make. I'll hand it off to Jerome Bettis again, who's got plenty of blocks up front, man. He's got plenty of size and girth to shake off as many tackles as needed to get into the end zone, and he does just that to break the scoreless tie here late in the first quarter and giving the Steelers a surge of offense here late. So it's unfortunate here, but look at this, man. Just the perfect running lane for him to go through, just shaking off some tackles, bouncing off some guys. You know, he's a man. He's a man amongst boys is really how it looks. So the first quarter is going to come to a close, and the Steelers are hanging on to that 7-0 lead, man. And they're off to a 2-1 start. So the Steelers have a great chance of starting off 3-1, especially if Jerome Bettis wants to keep doing things like this as he gets finally tracked down and brought down by a big D lineman. I mean, just the perfect running loom. The Steelers are getting a ton of push on the offensive line, man. It's really impressive to see on their end, but I really wish our D-line was doing a little bit more. That's especially an area of the team that we've invested a lot of stuff into, so the Steelers, their wide receiver makes the catch here downfield and gets the first down. I say it like that because I know the Titans also in our division have like a token wide receiver on their team, so I think it's just funny how there's 2 of them. I think they both wear 16 as well. It's Pickens for Tennessee. I think he actually wears 18, and then I want to say it's like Finnegan for the Steelers, I think. I can't remember, but on 3rd and short, the Steelers are going to go with a handoff to the fullback, and he's got plenty of space here. It's funny when you can't even tell the difference between the fullback and the running back just because of the way that they're built, man. He is an absolute bust. Both of them are busts. Man, they have an absolute bus depot in the backfield. So 1st and 10, just under 30 seconds left to go in the first half. The Steelers trying to get into the end zone as they go to their tight end. Again, man, that dude is freaking automatic. Brenner is absolutely automatic when it comes to throwing to him. But the Steelers are going to take the 3 points and try to get out of the first half unscathed here, as our offense has been pretty ineffective in the first half. Kind of a tale of a recurring tale for this team since last season, man. Our offense was really bad last year, and it looks like it's continuing to struggle here. Even though we did put up 28 points in the first game here, just couldn't finish. And Corey Dillon here is going to make us all eat those words as he gets some open space on the outside edge and gets shoved out of bounds. I mean, just dude, he had a crazy game in the first game here, and he's already picking up where he left off in the second gameplay video we're watching. So on 1st and 10, we're going to go to Gross, the fullback, and he tries to hurdle over the linebacker who was pancaked, and he trips on him and can't extend the play, man. He could have been gone for about 20 yards if he just got over him. So on second and short, we're going to give it to Corey Dillon, who tries to get the outside edge again, and he does, and he can't shake off that one tackle, or else he would have been gone, man. Off to the races in the end zone. Would have been no question about it. So we got to 2nd and 5 now here. A little over 3 minutes left in the third quarter. It's another handoff to Corey Dillon, who shoots up the middle of the field. He's got a wide open gap, and it's brought down forward into the end zone. A generous tackle, and it is another touchdown, rushing touchdown for Corey Dillon on the year, man. He's having a great season. I'm glad that we finally get to watch it, man. This is the stuff that we really need to see from him in all these gameplay videos that we're not seeing when we sim him, because he had over 1,100 yards last year, and I feel like we watched maybe 200 of them, if that, through the 6 games or so that I recorded. So 3rd and short now for the Steelers, but hold on, it looks like it's going to be a little bit longer as someone's moving before the ball is snapped. There's going to be a false start on Pittsburgh. And so 3rd and manageable turns into 3rd and long for the Steelers. So 3rd and 9 in their own territory, about their own 43-yard line. They're going to go with a fake handoff, and Cordell Stewart ripping this one to Plexico Burress, and he is behind the defenders, and there's nobody back there who's going to catch him. And it is a touchdown for the Steelers. So Cordell Stewart, amazing heads-up play, man. He just floated that one off so quickly. Look how quickly he gets rid of this ball. Just says, nope, he's open. And it looks like our cornerback tried to maybe make a play on the ball here and just kind of said, nope, I'll just cut the route here and try to make the play, but Plexico Burress was unfazed, and Cordell Stewart absolutely laid that ball up perfectly to get over his head. So it's another touchdown for the Steelers. Now brings it 17-7. And we desperately need to get something rolling on offense if we want to try and stay in this ball game. And that is Sharper, our rookie tight end, who's no longer a rookie. This is his 2nd season here, and he comes up big here with a nice reception across the middle of the field, man. He's got a lot of size to him, and so I like getting him involved into the offense. I'm glad when we do, because he can do stuff like this, just dragging players with him, surrounded by 4 Steelers, and is still somehow finding a way to churn up more yards. So third quarter comes to a close, and we find ourselves in a 10-point hole. We were in a pretty sizable deficit in our last game, and our defense came up pretty strong here. And only holding the Steelers to 17 points is a good thing. We just need to get rolling on offense as much as possible. And so that is a completion from Achilles Smith to that guy. I'm saying it like that because if you've noticed, no Chris Waller. I'm pretty sure he's injured again. I didn't look at the injury report until later on the season again, kind of like last year. So it looks like an ensemble between Peter Warrick, Horn, and whoever the 3rd or 4th receiver on the roster is. I've already forgotten. I'm going to have to look at the offseason video to see in the depth chart who it is, because they're going to get the ball quite a lot in this game. We haven't even shown that yet. But we do manage to get 3 points, so 10-17 is your score. 3rd and 5 now. We need to come up with a big stop here as the Steelers are trying to burn clock, and we absolutely stand up the fullback here on 3rd down and manage to get the ball back from Pittsburgh. And with enough time to do plenty of things, so with 1 minute and 47 seconds, we have plenty of time. Achilles Smith, though, is going to take all that time in the backfield, apparently, and he gets rid of this one to another unknown receiver. We have our own token white receiver on our team as well, and he comes back and has to make a play here because Achilles Smith just couldn't find an open receiver, and he gets absolutely clobbered. That ball probably had about 60% of the power it was supposed to have out of Achilles Smith's arm, and Lathon Flowers couldn't even catch up to him. Making that catch. So it is an amazing heads-up play by this receiver here, probably 4th or 5th on the depth chart, but we're getting production from everywhere we can here when we start to face injuries and struggles on offense. So 1st and 10 out for Smith, and he's going to spike the ball here to try and reshuffle the deck, get our bearings amongst us. So on 2nd and 10 here, we need to get the ball moving upfield as quickly as possible to try and tie this game here. So Kid Smith's going to drop back, pressure again in his face, and he gets rid of it to number 82 again, this receiver. It's going to flash his name, and I'll remember it, but I've forgotten it since before clicking record. So, but on 3rd and 6 now, we're already facing the end of this drive. If we can't get another 6 yards, and Smith drops back and floats this one off to another open receiver. And that is Horn, who makes that's potentially the game-saving catch to keep this drive alive and potentially tie this game up again. Now, remember, we went to overtime in week 1 of the season. It'd be crazy if we did it again here. But as clock is continuing to run here, we're losing time. Achilles Smith's going to spike it here. It looks like that's increasingly more likely unless we can't get into the end zone. So on 2nd and 10 for our offense, Smith is going to drop back. He's got plenty of time to make a decision, plenty of time to make a throw, and he's taking all day to make a throw, and he wants the home run ball, and he finds Horn wide open in the back of the end zone, but unfortunately it's too far in the back of the end zone, and it is out of bounds, so that one is not good. So on 3rd and 10, pressure's coming off the edge, and we find number 82 again, who makes the catch and cuts upfield and is brought down finally. So maybe on this one we might get his name Beasley. That's his name, Beasley. He doesn't have a picture, so he might be a receiver that I drafted last year, potentially. Yeah, see, he's got no photos. So I think he might be a receiver I drafted in the first or second year that's just kind of been sitting on a roster, not being used. But he's got 8 receptions today and over 100 yards, so he's absolutely carrying right now. He's fulfilling the role that Chris Waller is kind of leaving as a whole. And speaking of Peter Warrick, man, we need to find him. Where the heck is he at? Well, there he is on that play, making a block as we tried to go to Corey Dillon out of the flat. For some reason, just a terrible play call. But on 3rd and 6, the clock is continuing to run here. We have very limited time to get into the end zone here and complete this comeback. And Smith now through the air finds Peter Warrick. And he's in the end zone for the touchdown. And we managed to tie the game up with the Steelers, man. Do you believe in magic? We've had these close nail-biters before. I think we've went into overtime probably 2 or 3 times in this series with the Steelers. And it looks like we might be headed for OT again with Pittsburgh, man. We just cannot finish these guys off. So both teams have a timeout left. But the Steelers kind of came out and tried to do something, I guess. They got the ball close to midfield. But with 1 second left, Cordero Stewart's going to try and go for the home run ball. And he gets absolutely sandwiched by both of our edge rushers who get to him and bring him down with crushing fashion. So that will end the regulation play, the 4 quarters of play, and we are heading to overtime with the division rival again for the 2nd straight time this season. So both of our overtime plays come against division opponents, unless we did go to overtime. I'm crazy. Both of our games were wide victories and losses. So yeah, we're playing very tightly against our division. So that just seems to be how things are working so far. So, but the Steelers are already doing a great job of working the ball upfield here, and there's the completion to Plexico Burrs that's going to put them in the red zone, and that's essentially going to do it for the action here in Cincinnati. Unfortunately, all that hype and everything building into the end of the game, managing to pull off the 10-point comeback just to get into overtime, and the Steelers in just a few plays managed to get deep inside of our territory and set up the chip shot field goal, which there it is. They probably could have got another 5 or 10 yards for security purposes, because that's definitely not an automatic today, but for Brown it is from 34 yards, and the Steelers are going to take the first game of the series this year. So we will have to try and get even with them later on in the season, as the Steelers are off to a hot 3-1 start, man. So maybe the Steelers are turning a corner. Maybe they're better than we think they are. But we are falling to a 1-2-1 start, man. So I guess things could be worse. We could just be 1-3, but it kind of feels like we're 1-3. So we've kind of really been playing kind of bad. A lot of the issues that plagued us last year seem to still be very much alive here so far in our first few games of the season. I would have really liked to have seen how that Broncos game went, because it seems like whatever should be happening for this team in year 3, and even last year, was probably happening in that game, but against our division rivals, we just seem to fold every single time. So Achilles Smith doesn't have the worst game, I guess. Still just like to see more, but it is what it is. Corey Dillon actually has a pretty decent day. Peter Warrick doesn't get involved in the offense hardly at all. It's kind of shocking and uncharacteristic for him. Yeah, so that is what it is. In the next video, we're going to go to the immediate following week against the Titans, because the bye week is in week 6, and I think I wanted to do kind of like a trade deadline thing, see if we need to move some pieces or not, and see what we can do. So hope to see you guys next week when we welcome the Titans for more division play.